returning and new subscribers. I am Goddess High Priestess Empress Alba La Panthera. We are going to tune into the vibes, see what the ethereal energy update is for the collective as we are approaching Virgo season with its glorious 2 new moons at the beginning of Virgo season and at the end of Virgo season. The new moon at the end of Virgo season is a solar eclipse though. So we're approaching the eclipse season as well. First beginning with the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Now, we are currently in the sun hour, so this could bring a message of awakening, a message in regards to your destiny, your purpose. This could even give you information in regards to where you are at when it comes to your level of confidence, self-expression, solar energy. You can look at that as the solar plexus, but more so beyond that, the solar plexus is connected, as far as yoga is concerned, to the planet Mars, the use and action of your willpower. So you can also look at that as a form of you trusting your gut instincts, the actions that you take based off of you trusting, that's the first thing, your gut instinct. Now, let's look and see what the vibe is for you all here. We do have the collective standing at the gate, per se, of divine spark. Why do I say that? Well, you have Saturn and Neptune in retrograde in the sign of Aries, and Uranus and Gemini at 1 degree, which is an Aries degree. So you have this triplicity of this Aries energy, or the I am that I am frequency. Aries also connects to your life force energy. And once again, the I am that I am. Who are you when it comes to the way you express yourself? Who are you? What you say after that I am can show you where you are at with yourself as to the way you express yourself about yourself, okay? So let's see. There is a question that you want to keep at the forefront of your mind during this message thereafter. Are you mature enough to lead your own life path with clarity, discipline, and fire? Are you mature enough to lead your own life with clarity, discipline, and fire? And the beauty of this question is the fact that Saturn, which has to do with the teacher, the grand master type of energy, the disciplinarian in the sign of Aries, of you, the warrior. Now, with that being said, while it's in retrograde, it's putting you in the position of asking yourself, where are you when it comes to your connection to basically a Christ consciousness version of yourself, where you are willing and able, conscientious as to the way you move when it comes to what you came here to master as a soul, having a human experience. Okay, so let's go and see, is this a Bible verse? Stay for a while if this is an energy that you can resonate with, because we tune into all things for the highest purpose of all. But it is asked that you have the maturity and the awareness to understand, and overstand as to the realm and portal that you have just entered in asking that question. We are in the age of Aquarius, the age of knowing, and no longer in the age of Pisces, of deception, where the collective has been prone and programmed to tune into sorrow and not know their power. You know, the 2 fishes of Pisces? Well, yeah. Humanity, the collective, has been programmed and prone to connect to more sorrow than knowing themselves, and believing things that they do not know, and just willingly flowing with that current of believing in things that they do not know, disregarding the order of the cosmos, which is what Christ, what Jesus came here to teach the collective. You will do greater works than I. Yeah, that type of frequency, yes. But the ignorance of the collective won't allow them to see the mystery, the story that is within their emotions, the water within them, the blood that flows through them, because many lack knowledge of self due to ignorance, and ignorance is not bliss. So, with that being said, let's tune into the vibe, shall we? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Once again, this is a collective ethereal energy update. Allow what resonates with you to allow you to, you know what I'm saying, flow with you. So does your mom. Yes. Just know the way the block energy works over this way, okay? You are going back to source each time you were blocked, because let me tell you something about this here channel. You will not hear the verbiage of you can take that somewhere else. No, baby, it stops here. Remember, it's the age of Aquarius. You're supposed to know what you're stepping into. And if you don't know, you will find out. Hopefully. Which is connected to fear, not the fear that I have, but hopefully for you, for yourself, you can come out of that fear, basically having a reconnection to your basic levels of trust. What allows you to feel secure and grounded so that you're not placing yourselves into spaces and rooms that do not concern or connect, rather, forget the concern that leads to doubt, that does not connect with who you know yourself to be. Or is there an ignorance due to where one knows themselves, and that's to which level one knows themselves? That sounds about, you know, as to why people step into rooms and portals, and, you know, this here technology is your modern day cauldrons and wands. So when I hit that block button, I'm an ancient soul. You don't know the type of block energy that's moving with that frequency, beloved. So move cautiously, move wisely, and let's have an amazing time through this message, shall we? Yes, let's get into it. All praise due to the Most High, Mama Universe, Papa Universe. I connect my heart and soul to Mama Universe and Papa Universe. I connect my heart and soul to my heart and soul. I connect my heart and soul to my angels, spirit guides, ancestors, protectors, warriors, spirit animals that guide and protect me. I connect my heart and soul once again to my heart and soul, higher self energy, all through unconditional love. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Gracias a la misericordia. Ahí voy. Let's go. Message for the collective, beloved. What's the message of guidance for the collective? Talk to them. Talk to them. Just to, you know what I mean? Independent, clever, fascinating. Collective, you are being guided to observe your surroundings and keep your own counsel. Find clarity and then express your inner and outer beauty to the world. Pounce on the opportunities that feed your soul with purpose and passion. Awaken now to your personal power, talents, and freedom. And once again, the question that Saturn is asking the collective is, are you mature enough to lead your own life with clarity, discipline, and fire? While it's in retrograde, everything that's coming to the surface at this time is basically allowing you or placing you into a position to make decisions for yourself that when Saturn goes direct, Saturn restricts or makes sure it puts you through a process of discipline, so that way you are now able to make a wise decision. But the wisdom comes from the challenges and obstacles that you have experienced in order for you to even utilize, or yes, even utilize the wisdom that was gained from these situations. Very similar to when you go into the gym. When you do it consistently, you become stronger. The more you are aware of what it is that you're placing yourself into and through, and it no longer serves you, and you move it to the side and you apply that wisdom of releasing things in terms of not placing yourself into situations that no longer serve you, you now begin to open and be more open and receptive to what is in connection to the rewards and abundance of joy as a result of that wisdom. But you must apply it. You must apply it. So if you have the knowledge of these lessons that you have experienced, that knowledge will allow you to unlock doors so that you can step into a deeper knowing. Okay, so let's see what else comes through here. The kangaroo, stability, faith, and determination. I heard transmissions. There's one of you in here. It's not obviously not for everybody because it's a specific message. Some of you are buying time basically when it comes to a messed up transition in a vehicle. Be wise about that. You know, put it to the side, get yourself something new because it's something about someone's transmission in the car. You are being guided to take action and think big. Know the greatness that you are. Take back your power, collective. Leave. Take back your power. So some of you have left a situation physically, obviously not spiritually or metaphysically. You're still connected to a situation that you're being asked to take back your confidence, reconnect with your confidence in a sense. Reconnect with your confidence because you may be replaying a conversation or something that was stated to you that doesn't allow you to express yourself freely, which is also connecting you to some sort of guilt or shame. Leap over any obstacles and build your desires on a solid foundation. Forge ahead without looking back and create emotional fulfillment while staying grounded. Being true to yourself and having faith in the unknown. Now, in order for you to create emotional fulfillment while staying grounded, astrologically, what you would want to study in your natal chart is your Saturn placement, which has a connection as far as the chakras are involved. It would have a connection to the depths of the earth, the depths of the body, the depths of the body, the foundation of the body, the root chakra. Saturn is connected to your root chakra. So Saturn places you through lessons that you are supposed to remember who you are, where that deep basic trust can come from, that security and groundedness can come from within yourself, not so much looking for it outside of you. You may go through lessons that you may seek this level of grounding, security, those type of situations from things outside of you. And that's basically the restriction or the disciplinary experiences that you may go through in order for you to see what is within you that you may be still seeking outside of yourself. One more. The cougar. Okay. Assertive, wise, and decisive. You are being guided to be attentive towards the universal nudges in your life. Maybe pause because there are two felines here and we are closing out Leo season. Leo at 29 degrees right now, specifically 29 degrees is a wealth degree, even more so in the sign of Leo. But let's continue with this message. You are being guided to be attentive towards universal nudges in your life. Make your decision. Take a risk and step outside your comfort zone. So stepping outside your comfort zone, if you want something that's more specific as to what is that? What does that mean for you? Specifically stepping out of your comfort zone. Your North Node. Your North Node expresses your cosmic blueprint in terms of where you are to step outside of your comfort zone while also utilizing any tools that you may have from a past life, your South Node. Because some of you may still be living in a South Node position, but because of not knowing these type of cosmic blueprints and this information that is out there for you to at least get started on your journey, to get more in tune with yourself. Not saying that's the end all be all, that's the only thing you can do. No, but for some, it has saved people's lives. It has saved people from getting locked up when you use the information accordingly. Okay? So make your decision, take a risk, and step outside your comfort zone. If you change your approach, you change your direction. Each inspired action taken will deliver you to your heart's desires. So let me go ahead and see specifically what's going on here. What y'all got going on here, eh? Show me the energy here for the collective. I love it. The moon is in Taurus right now. It could stabilize the influences of these Aries alignments too. But when the moon is in Taurus, it will call for grounding through sensuality, earth connection, embodiment. So grounding, putting your feet in the grass, being in nature, holding those Venusian codes of comfort, loyalty, and emotional fertility. What's going on here? You have conflict and defeat, Five of Swords, moving on. Feeling conflicted and defeated about moving on, and moving on is indeed the positive movement forward towards your destiny. This is a knowing you deeply have, but what's hidden here? Emotional withdrawal, something that you have to walk away from that no longer serves you. Eight of Cups, Saturn in Pisces. Saturn will be going back into Pisces as is in retrograde on the 1st of September. Yeah. Which will bring you to your final dissolution phase. The final phase of dissolving anything that you have yet or have been emotionally withdrawing from that may have even placed a block here on your throat chakra per se. There's some level of emotion in connection to a memory that you have. That's your moon energy too. Emotions connected to memories. There's an energy and motion that you have connected to a memory, and just those two that we're speaking of, emotion connected to a memory, is literally playing something out as if it's happening right now. But the situation physically has long gone passed on. But just the emotion, what one is feeling, processing, in connection to the memory, one is more so in this, okay, in a loop of reflecting rather than observing the situation, in a loop of reflecting rather than observing, because that loop that one is in reflecting about this situation is having you replay the experience so much so that it feels as though it's happening right now. Okay, let me see, what is this? Okay, we're not going there first. There's movement. However, this movement may be uncomfortable. Realizing what it is that you have to withdraw from, that you have a strong emotional connection to. You may be putting in too much work on working on something that you feel is part of your destiny, but in fact it was a stepping stone. Frequency and vibration. Welcome, Nicole. Frequency and vibration. We have retrieval. Wow. This is why there was a pause in the message of taking your power back, because it's something about leaving that power there, because there's nothing that you can even do in regards to taking that power back, especially as you are going through a process of ascension and expansion. Is as if that power that is within a situation of the past, it remains there. It has a place, it dissolves there. You taking it on is as if you are placing yourself back into a previous situation. So let's express this in another way. As you're removing yourself from what no longer serves you, it is just that it no longer serves you. So to take it back on, even if you're taking it back on rejuvenated, it still will not serve you, because you have evolved and expanded so much, or in the process thereof, that this final dissolution phase, when Saturn goes into Pisces on the 1st of September, is really going to even place you into, an experience or an energetic frequency and vibration where you do recognize that, and that could be the uncomfortable shift that you experience, but at the same time you are courageous and have the strength to move on, having the strength to move on, because you know that this is basically shattered glass, shattered glass into a powdered form. To even put that together, you know that that glass is still going to be broken. You know that it's still something, or a container that you can't consume out of anymore. You know what I mean? Collapse, yeah. Shit. Release. Letting it go. Letting it go for the new to grow. Letting it go for the new to grow. What's this? The harpy eagle. Yeah, this is coming out from the depths of your subconscious. That's a powerful card. A harpy eagle. They got talons that are the size of bears. Those are beautiful eagles. Beautiful. Huge, though. They ain't nothing to play with. Let me read y'all the message. It's a beautiful message from the harpy eagle here. Give me 1 second, love. Let me see if it pulls up. Yeah, something is being pulled from the depths of your subconscious, giving Pluto vibes. So your Pluto placement in your chart will show you where you are undergoing a level of transformation, that in the depths of your sensitive psychological areas within you. Your vibration is based on speed, though. How fast or how slow your energy is moving. Your frequency is the sound that your energy vibration is making. Think of it as your own unique energetic tone. The higher the pitch, the higher the frequency. The faster your energy is vibrating, the lower the pitch. The lower the frequency, the slower your energy is vibrating. Be careful with those type of questions, Nicole here. If you're new, just pay attention to the energy as to the way I, in connection to the ancestors and spirit guides in the cosmos, are directing messages for the collective. This is not one of those spaces that you can just go to and ask that type of message. So be more aware. You're in a space right now where you're obviously being called to go through the process of transformation, release what no longer serves you, end whatever this part of you is that is strongly connected and ego-driven, doing things out of performance rather than your purpose and authenticity. The harpy eagle, with talons the size of bear claws, the harpy eagle acts as an energetic surgeon with the ability to extract even the deepest mental root system. This potent observer sits high up in the trees where it has a keen pulse on even the most subtle patterns flowing within the air. Now, here's another thing I'm getting from this. This is what I mean about you won't be able to even hold on to what it is that you're being asked to let go of, which is going to bring forth that sensation of being uncomfortable, because you have nothing to grab onto that you normally have access to, whether this is physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, however that may be. You won't have access to grab onto these things that basically are a coping mechanism or a defense mechanism. Okay? The harpy eagle is the medicine that works deep within the human mental's body through the subconscious and conscious mind. The harpy eagle holds the precision to not only pinpoint but extract mental roots connected to distorted thoughts, beliefs, and outdated programs. The black jaguar, this deck calls to this power ally when a mental loop or distortion is present. Yeah. This is causing this level of mental loop and distortion is causing one to panic. If you are experiencing some sort of panic, is because you're in this mental loop or in distorted way of being or perceiving reality. Pause for a moment. Again, this is a collective message. So let's say if I'm talking to you one-on-one, if you are someone who is experiencing this energy of feeling panicky and you don't know what to do, and you don't know what to do, but you're still doing, it's as if you're working through fumes or on fumes. You don't have the gas or the fuel or the proper fuel to be taking the steps that you're taking, because even the fuel that you're using and the steps that you're taking are things that no longer serve you. They're not in alignment to you. So the first thing you would want to do is to pause and reflect on what occurred with you, to you, between 0 and 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21. Really sit and reflect, observe, reflect, observe what's been going on as to why you are perceiving reality the way that you do. Because I'm going to let you know this right now. It is time for the collective to hold themselves accountable for what it is that they're experiencing in their external environment, because it's a reflection of the water that is within you, the emotions, energy and motion, or the water emotions that are within you, that is reflecting it back at you, to you, with the environment that you see. The moment that you notice something is out of, you know, it's not balanced. First and foremost, when you are in a situation you notice is not balanced and there's some sort of storm event that occurs where you feel as though everything is being pulled from you, it's because balance is required. In this stage that the collective is in right now, up until November, all the time, yes, it's an illusion, but play the game of life. Play the game of life. You got a lot of different manuals that you can use to play this game of life. But choose the manual and the tool that is for you. Choose it wisely. Okay? Yes, the 7-year cycles are so important. Yes. Especially when it comes to spiritual refinement. You know? So it's really important to know you, but not from the you that you were told from others about you. Utilize that as a tool. If there are things that were told to you that you know deep within your soul, which also means that you would have to observe for self. What is your connection to your soul and your spirit? Where are you in connection to that? Do you actually know what that is? Do you know the sensations? Do you know the language that, you know, pours through you when there's a connection with your spirit and your soul, and not the ego? Because the ego is going to place you into experiences for you to gain the knowledge of observation, or to gain observation. Experience gained through observation, EGO, yeah. So that way you can connect deeper into your divinity. Okay, so let's see, air, speaking of spirit. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but a little bit more in regards to this frequency. You got Uranus and Gemini. So there's a lot of codes, electric mind codes that are coming in while it's in Gemini, 1 degrees, which is causing the rewiring of your thoughts. Because this placement, the placement with Uranus and Gemini, it initiates a quantum initiation. That's the 1st degree. So when you have a placement in your chart at 1 degrees, it's an initiating degree. So Uranus and Gemini at 1 degree, it initiates quantum rewiring of mental pathways. Gemini having to do with the mind. There's a rewiring of your mental pathways at this degree. Once again, Uranus at 1 degrees of Gemini, which leads to an awakening of sudden insights, electric communication from higher intelligence, hence AI, the way it's being pushed out more and more and more and more. a push to liberate thought from societal programming. So this is a time where you can expect downloads, interruptions when it comes to technology. So some of y'all here out here getting frustrated with your technology. Obviously, I would look at you on some, yeah, you need to get a little bit more into astrology so you can ease up all the way and know that this is going to happen. Now, someone who is ignorant about these tools are gonna say, "But is it all right? You go over that way. You don't gotta step into the astrology stuff. Just do what you doing." But obviously, what you doing got you over there frustrated. Meanwhile, someone who has an understanding that, oh yeah, Uranus is in Gemini. All this stuff with technology is going through rewiring itself. It's going to be a little, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a little hectic going on with the electricity here and there, because even when it comes to Uranus, it connects to the electric impulses within your nerves. So what gets your nerves fired up, you can look within your chart and study your Uranus placement. Each of you are uniquely designed. But what would this education system tell you that, oh, this, and that, everybody's learning this same subject, to then lead into each one having to compete for a better grade, and then possibly it may be a good foundation, but it ain't the greatest foundation in terms of you bringing out what you came here to experience and, share with the collective. That's something you choose to do. And honestly, yeah, because at the end of the day in the story itself, you came here to express love through your creation. You came here to be a creative. You came here to be an artist, because an artist is a creative. You came here to create. You came into this realm with the physical vessel that can go through these different senses, specifically seeing, touching, hearing, smelling, things of that nature, to experience life. But boy, don't the ones that know this type of information of the astros, whether if it's, biblical information, esoteric, metaphysical, there's certain things and people who are aware of this and have used it massively against the collective, so much so ignorance has become bliss. Not saying that's for all, but just stating that to, give you this heads up. There's information out there for you to look into that can help you to break out of these cycles. But people have more time to look into other people's lives and be nosy about what this one is doing, who this one is dating, why they doing this, and why, instead of looking within themselves. So that's a major key here in this energy at this time. Be mindful as to who it is that you're around that's constantly talking about this person and that person, what they're doing, and then at what moment are they taking the time to look within themselves? Because I'm pretty sure when you go within, you don't got time to be doing all this bullshit and this he say, she say, whatever. Especially if you ain't getting paid for it. So, expect downloads, interruptions to tech, and sudden changes in conversation, alliances, or learning styles, remembering styles. How many of your partnerships went sideways or went into a direction that you probably didn't even realize? So that could be part of this uncomfortable situation that some of you are going through, where you may even be forced to move on. 856, emotional withdrawal, conflicted and defeated about moving on. Yeah. You have defensive here. Now, defensiveness is a sign of weakness. Sit down for a second. Look at this initiation. 1 degree. This energy of being defensive is because someone may be listening or hearing something that may be a trigger, but don't want to accept it at that moment. This is another example, I would say, of Saturn in Aries and retrograde, is having the split decision to having the within a split second to make a decision of listening without being defensive or listening and being defensive. Because when Saturn goes direct, it's going to test the collective back in those same realities in terms of, okay, you were told exactly something that you felt as though you desired to hear, or you may have wanted to have this level of expression or dialogue, but when you have it, you don't know what to do with it because you're still so stuck in the version of yourself that didn't have it. So allow this Saturn in Aries retrograde phase to literally pull those situations up and clear it as soon as you recognize it. Okay? Chaos. Defensive, chaos, and held. Yeah, this is something that's been held on to for a while. Explain? Blocked. This could be why some of you are experiencing blockages, where you are possibly experiencing blockages because of your level of defensiveness. Now, show me. We have the Temperance card. So this is divine alignment where you're being thrown into tempting situations with partial temperance, partially being tempered, partially being given the tools to alchemize the situations when you encounter being tempted. Right after this is the card of temptation, or the devil card. So, okay. Three of Pentacles, Mars and Capricorn. So there's some level. So what's being cleared out here is a misuse of authority due to ego-driven ways and not wanting to listen what's being said. So this is speaking before even hearing what's being said type of energy here. Especially with temperance sideways. It's a challenge. This could be you, or some of you. This could be you moving as an earth angel in someone's life, or you have an earth angel in your life that's coming through to bring balance. You may not even realize what their energy is to the extent of what and who they are and what they came here to do, and working with the mind, body, and spirit to recalibrate you. Where there is a level of awareness right before you're about to enter into a space of chaos, that they're actually in the position to hold it, encase it, contain it before you even step into this level of chaos. So much so to assist you with, managing of what it is that you are being asked to emotionally withdraw from, because it's been a conflict and it's had you in this space of feeling defeated, to moving on from this, trusting the universe every step of the way. And I mean every step of the way, whether if it's something you say out loud or something you say to yourself. Everything that's being said should be in alignment with, the faith and trust that that you got the divine source, whatever you want to label the higher power in connection to you as an extension of it, that it got you. Every step of the way, not just in certain moments and having cognitive dissonance as to when you're not moving in alignment to the cosmos or source. Tell me more about this. You have to really realize, with this placement of Uranus being in Gemini, your speech is a major spell over your life. And some of y'all seeing that quicker than others. And the sooner the better. The sooner the better. The sooner the better. Welcome, Panthera Soul Fam, Amina. What's good, love? What's great, love? Look at this. The Empress shows up with the Ten of Swords. Whoa, 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 baby. Whoa, baby. Show me the Empress. Ooh, the Empress is the Tower moment. Now, there goes the chaos. There goes divine intervention. Divine intervention coming through as chaos with the Moon card. What's this? The Three of Swords. When this is the card of betrayal before a new beginning. Before the covenant comes towards you. This is the end. But this is a Mercury and Gemini card. This is an end of self-betrayal within one's own thoughts. That is blocking the effortless flow of creativity. And once again, we got this twin new moon energy in Virgo, which is basically, new moons are about a clean slate and planting seeds, but it's an even cleaner slate when it comes to it being in the sign of Virgo. The purifier, priestess, also the temptress energy, also the trickster energy. Virgo embodies so much of it. Anytime the moon is in Virgo, you can literally channel details 4141 about a situation. Let's look at 4141. And if you have a moon in Virgo, as I do, you know what's up. 4141, encompassing, surrounding, roundabout. What is this? Divine justice. Divine justice. Yeah, divine justice that leads into divine unions. Literally the covenant. Divine unions. The end of betrayal, self-betrayal. Self-betrayal, the end of self-betrayal. The Tower card. So there was obviously a situation or partnerships that ended abruptly, because you do have this ends. Okay, with the Temperance card showing up in this cross position, it's showing that when you were going through a process of being tempered and having to be patient, there were some issues with that. So as protected and guided as you are, collective, there's an earth angel, a cosmic frequency, a kindred spirit, a cosmic kindred spirit that now shows up in your life to help you filter this energy out. And part of that means that there are certain partnerships that you see fall apart as part of bringing balance into a situation. Literally, we just talked about that right before even pulling these cards up, that when something has to be balanced out, a storm arrives for it to be balanced out. And this has to do with the lessons that one goes through in regards to balance in relationships, or the essence of duality, especially when it comes to one's emotions. So this may have something that is in connection to what has to be balanced out. It started from the womb space. It may have started from the maternal line. Literally from the maternal line, with the Empress showing up here. The balancer of sacred contracts, commitment and karma in partnerships. This experience right now, collective, is going to show you where you hold the keys to divine justice, soul agreements, and sacred reciprocity. Where you hold the keys to even opening the doors to agreements that you allowed your soul to step into for you to gain wisdom. And what you may have not realized is that your life has taught others how to create fair structures and balance in their relationships that is rooted in integrity and clarity. So this is possibly why you are the one that is going through all of the betrayal, but it's because you, encompassing 4141, you're surrounded by exactly what you are able to contain. Remember, you're not given more than you can handle. You're surrounded by all that is within that you can contain, which means you can do something about it. If it's showing up in your reality, you have the ability, and the opportunity to name it so that way you can heal it. That's also Neptune and Aries message in retrograde. Allow all of these things to come to the surface where you may have suppressed yourself just not to be a burden to someone else, which can easily place you in the Ten of Swords position where you are betraying yourself. In a sense of, okay, you may notice that you hold yourself back from expressing what's going on with you because you don't want to be a burden to someone, but you remain in the environment of these situations. That's self-inflicted betrayal, which then leads to resentment of some sort and the pointing of the fingers. Now, let's say you're in a situation where right now you really can't get out of that environment, physically and financially. This is where you have to take it up a notch and have the audacity for yourself to reflect on whatever the situations are, write it out, do some self-healing, or whenever you can, get to a place or get to people, get to a person that is outside of this environment that you can confide in and have these conversations. But to sit and complain about this is all there is, that's on you. Feel me? Okay. Let me see. Tell me more. Let me get a Saturn card. For this collective and this energy, what is being mastered? This one, it landed right on top of the Empress. What is being mastered is Saturn and Gemini energy, which means lessons in thought, discipline, and consistency, being the wordsmith of wisdom, the gift of mastery of mind and message. If you are someone with this placement, you are here to refine the power of communication, to speak truth as a sacred architecture, to speak truth as a sacred architecture. Your voice carries weight and your words instruct, heal, evolve, and evolve consciousness. Now, for someone whose voice carries weight, your first lesson or the lesson that you would have to go through and endure the most is having that your voice suppressed or being in situations where you feel that you cannot express yourself. Whatever challenges you are going through right now is a deep connection to the power that is within you and your greatest strength. But you have to go through it and stop going over it. Something as simple as, oh, you're over a situation. That don't mean you went through it and handled it. That you going over it is you dealing with it and still playing the game. Because as long as cards are being dealt, the game is still going. You don't want to play that game, go through it, win, beat the levels, and get up on out of there. Yep. Five of Cups with the Two of Pentacles. Juggling with sorrow, pains, and regrets. Juggling regrets for what? This would be someone who has to forgive themselves. Now, show me more about this Two of Pentacles. Someone who has to forgive themselves may not even see it that way. Why? Because this would be an energy that's constantly worried about or thinking that, there's nothing that is there for them to protect them, to nurture or be there with and for them. Because with that Five of Cups, that's Mars and Scorpio energy, which is the use and action of one's willpower when it comes to transforming or letting go of situations, especially when there's a level of deep, intense emotions connected to it. Once again, this would be someone who is unable to move on from a situation of glass that is shattered to powdered form, wanting to put even the powdered pieces together, knowing great and well that that glass that has shattered is because that path has closed. It has served its purpose. Literally turned into ashes for something new to rise from it. Show me Two of Pentacles here. Yeah, and that would be why, look at this, Five of Pentacles, which is the energy of feeling left out in the cold, which in holding on to this energy of feeling left out in the cold can lead to someone having some level of spiritual and financial decline, of holding on to a frequency that is not receptive, but more so, yeah, that's just not receptive. Because in the Five of Cups, you have this blocked energy, just not to call it dark, this blocked energy that you can't see the face of, but the energy is connected to things of the past and the desire to want to rebuild it and bring it back. So a tower moment happens because it's time for one to turn around to the next two cups that are standing upright, that are empty, and now, you know, are in the perfect position to be able to contain new waters. Two of Cups, Venus and Cancer. But one won't be able to know that if they don't know their worth of, first and foremost, trusting and honoring what it is one feels. Cancer having to do with feelings. And it may be something that's as deep as, okay, a lot of times your feelings, not a lot of times, but in certain cases, your feelings may be connected to some sort of DNA coding or some ancestral root connection that you have, where some of these feelings or what's flowing through your blood may not specifically be yours in this current lifetime, but what it is that you have within you, containing within you. And once again, you're never given more than you can handle, that which is within you, so that way you can be the one to handle it and not deal with it the way the previous generations have. Then we have the Two of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles, Saturn and Taurus. This would be one going through lessons about their own worth. Saturn and Taurus, Taurus ruled by Venus. And the major part of this has to do with the power of your voice that is also connected to your financial stability. Now, the power of voice doesn't have to be you speaking to other people, but primarily having to do with the way you speak to yourself. Look at this, the Emperor with the Six of Pentacles showing up here. Let's see what's going on. Okay, we said go deeper into this, so let's do that. Me too, a Celtic spirit. I want to see what we got to dissolve here for y'all. And also being patient with yourself. If you're someone with Saturn and Taurus, your stability is a slow building process. You're the earth steward, the gift of stability and sacred worth, being the alchemist of value and form, grounding the spiritual into the material, manifestation through patience, summoning what it is that you want into your, that you desire into your life, to claim it into being your sovereign state, summoning, manifesting it with patience. Because manifestation is just the summoning of your desire. Suffering in silence. Okay. What's going to be brought to light at this time is what you are suffering in silence about here, that it's time to bring an ending to. It could be causing blockages within the root and the solar plexus. Again, with the 13 is probably something that you've been seeing here. a synchronistic code for you. There's something with the throat chakra. As I was taking that sip, I was hearing dry land. You've been seeing 3313. So you would be going through a process of you overcoming. You could be, you know, going in between the transformation where it's time for you to be a guide or some sort of advisor or coach. 33 having to do with master teacher. And your birthday is 313. That's 10 of Cups energy, Mars in Pisces. Being mindful what it is that you believe in, Mars in Pisces, because the use and action of your power is in connection to your beliefs. So make sure what you believe, you know. So it has a solid ground to be what it's to be. Show me the current energy here. Awareness, the Magician. Okay, let's make you aware of this. What's the challenge? What's the challenge? Awareness of the challenge. What is it? What's the challenge? Patience. There's that. Grounding the spiritual into material manifestation. Because some of you really could just be planting the seeds for something that is to occur, let me see, 2027. Not to say you won't see abundance or, you know, an abundance of joy and abundance of wealth, because you could be abundant in many things. But you want to make sure you are abundant in what it is that you desire, because you could be abundant in stress. You could be abundant, and abundance is more of. It's an extensive amount, but what is it that you want that abundance to be connected to? So being clear. Show me more here. One more for the challenge here. Why is this? Patience, and then you have spiritual strength. Moon in Sagittarius. Patience with spiritual strength. So grounding your spirituality into the material manifestation through patience. This is very interesting here. Some of you just have a heavy heart, a sense of a heavy heart because you're holding on to others' situations, and it's right in front of you. It's literally being shown to you whose energy you're holding on to. Whose energy you're holding on to, not specifically a person. Energy you're holding on to. And it's only something you can hold on to because it's within you. It can only, what's outside of you can only make a connection to you if that is something that you are too. This is where people have issues with holding themselves accountable. You see what I'm saying? Because for love to come to you is because you have love within you. If stressful situations show up, it's because there's stress within you. So your environment's constantly, you know, showing you what you can change. But it's up to you as the creator, as the artist, the creator as an extension of source, to come up with a different approach. What's at the basis of this? Moving on. A challenge, though. It came out sideways. Foundation is shaky because of still holding on to something that could also be causing a block when it comes to someone's solar plexus, which is a lack of self-expression. We gotta look a little bit deeper into this, because why is this here? Moving on. Why is it in this position? The Seven of Pentacles. You can't make this shit up. Saturn and Taurus. Slow building stability. And the lessons come through slow building stability. This is wanting to rush the process. And a lack of trust of divine timing. So the ego will place you into a situation where you feel as though you got to rush to build your stability. But with Saturn and Taurus is slow building stability, material lessons. This would be calling something and summoning something because you didn't see it in the next 5 minutes. You lose all desires of continuing and trusting and having faith that the cosmic divine alignment will bring it forth. That's the truth. Justice. That's the spiritual cosmic law truth of the situation. Some of you are legitimately going through tests of what it is you desire to manifest in your life. And let's say you put a date next to it. For example, you put a date next to it and it doesn't happen that day. You're feeling as though you're a failure. And you may be going back and forth with the way you express yourself about that, where there's a distorted conversation between your higher self and your lower self. Your higher self is aware and the trust and the faith that you are to connect with in order for, you to be in a position to claim what it is that you're summoning or manifesting. But your lower self wants it now. While the lower self is not even in a position of now, because the lower self constantly tends to be in a depressive past situation or an anxious state, future position, never present. You see what I'm saying? So it's important to get grounded, rooted and grounded, and trust and faith. Faith has to do with you living and feeling what it is that you desire as it's already happening, even if your present conditions don't show it as so. The moment you shift out of that because you don't see what it is that you are calling in your reality, the moment you shift out of that, and because that's been, a primary source as to the way you perceive your reality, the universe is going to constantly give you that version of yourself, where you're used to not getting something in the ego's timing. Because when you surrender, truly surrender to divine's timing, you literally just put out there what it is that you desire, and you keep moving with inspired action and doing the things that you have access to do in the now. 624 could also be a significant number as well. You lose all love in what it is that you desire to do or have in front of you at the moment to do, because what is gathered, stored, storing. What is gathered, 624 has to do with what is gathered. This old perception of yourself that you have so much, and you have an abundance of an old version of yourself, which is why what you're manifesting or summoning has issues with getting to you. There's too much traffic, basically. It's too much traffic. What's in the immediate past here? The Three of Cups. So some of you could be reconciling with an old version of yourself, an old relationship. You keep going back and forth when it comes to a significant relationship or reconciling in a situation. We have the Sun card, Leo energy. This will be an example of someone trusting their gut instinct, but it's the gut instinct that is not in alignment to their purpose. Doing what's comfortable. Doing what's comfortable. Okay. Tell me more about this, immediate past. Because this is what led to, and then we got the Emperor. Standing on business, standing in your authority. Rejoice in celebration, authority, and stand your ground. So for some of you, this has to do with not allowing yourself to be in situations where you feel as though you're being pushed over. Because someone feels as though they have authority over something or someone, and people who over exercise authority on others because they have they have no control of themselves. They're not connected to the control center of themselves. Heart space. So that would be another way of expressing that energy external to oneself, where now one is forcing others to do something the way that they want to do, but they are incapable or unable to do that for themselves. It's the same way someone would sit here and say that this person is doing this and this person is doing that, just not to reflect and realize, well, you're noticing all of this shit because that is you. You see what I'm saying? What's crowning this energy? Show me what's at the forefront. Your stability, your finances, material and spiritual prosperity. Root chakra. You want stability in the home space. Or what's at the forefront of your mind is your stability within the home. And you feeling at home within your body. Show me. And then you have the third eye, clear inner knowing of the direction you're being guided to take by the signals you feel within your body, in connection to spirit, in connection to source. Then we have Jupiter and Pisces, fulfillment of wishes or fulfillment of desires. Yeah. That's basically describing what we was just stating here. This 1 and the 6 is the 7, with the 9 is the 16, which is a tower moment or divine intervention. Divine intervention of, okay, some of you, it seems as though you're summoning things into your life that are not for you. Just put it that way. They're not for you. They're not for you. You have victory and success here. You're worth more. You're worth more. And it seems as though one is playing it small with wishful thinking. Show me more about this. One, 6, 9. 1, 6, 2009. I'm also picking up very strongly here. The devil card just pulled up. So there's something in regards to 2009 that you're still linked, connected, or in bondage to. That's not for all. We have communication. Mercury and Sagittarius with the Hermit. Wow. Clearly her having a conversation with yourself, because that's solitude. Some of you are really not in an environment where you can really connect with yourself in solitude. That's what's at the forefront of your mind. Okay. This is the moving on card that popped up earlier as well. The 6 of Swords. Okay. So if you are in a situation where you don't, first and foremost, have the clarity or a precise connection to your inner knowing because of your environment, we're going to see what the advice from Source and Spirit is here. Okay. But to start this off, this is your training grounds of becoming an alchemist. When you're in an undesired environment, use that as an ingredient to strengthen your ability to be in solitude and connect with yourself, even in the midst of the card came out earlier, even in the midst of chaos. The greatest magicians, alchemists, sorcerers, those who utilize their sources accordingly, are able to do so because they know how to navigate themselves through any environment, especially when it has to do with connecting with self, not making excuses of what's around them, and instead utilizing what is around them to strengthen that if they're not in a Zen environment, that they can still tune in and tap in. Moving towards transformation. What's this? For some of you, moving towards transformation looks as though it looks as though to go back to something of the past where you felt as though you had your authority. But the fact that this is peeping out here, that means put it to rest. And it's time to make a change, a rapid change that's in connection to your clear inner knowing. Sagittarius, I see, mind's eye, third eye, first eye really, but the third eye card shows up at the forefront of your mind. This is being activated in terms of Uranus being in Gemini, where there's a rewiring of your thoughts so you can connect to your discernment, so you can trust your intuition before it makes sense. So pray for discernment, if anything, okay? Because going towards going towards the past is just gonna lead. What's the divine intervention or a tower moment or an upheaval in one's life is going to literally cause you to possibly having to, because this Knight of Wands means non-conformity, the change of residence. This is also the card of Sagittarius. Then you have here the Four of Swords. You can look this up yourself. You have here the Four of Swords, which is Jupiter and Libra, where you're being asked to, put aside and dissolve, go through this final dissolution phase when it comes to certain partnerships that do not reflect the higher evolved version of yourself that you are going towards, Jupiter and Libra. Because what balances out the axis with Libra is Aries, and Aries says, I am. Libra says, I balance. So if there are situations or partnerships, significant partnerships that you notice that are going through some sort of upheaval and it feels as though the rug has been taken from beneath your feet, it's because it's no longer in alignment to who you are, the I am that I am, the evolved version of yourself, the self that is in connection as an extension of Source. Okay? Wow. The Hangman, surrender. Wow. It's going to happen regardless. Because this is the eclipse season that you're approaching. Lunar eclipse, Pisces. Solar eclipse, Virgo. Major downloads is going to help you, collective, to really readjust what it is that you have going on so you can literally change your path or change the fated path that has been designed based off the prior decisions that you have been making, feeling as though that you were in authority of your life. Remember, what was the question now from the beginning? That Saturn in Aries is asking the collective. Let's go back to the question. Okay? As there is a revisiting of your sovereign responsibility, shutting outdated expressions of leadership and ego-driven willpower, remembering the way to move from divine command and not reaction. The question is, are you mature enough to lead your own life with clarity, discipline, and fire? Look at this. Aquarius energy. I love that because it is during Aquarius season that Saturn will be direct and actually enters Aries. What does that mean? Your identity will now be rooted in soul, not trauma, giving you access to act from wisdom and not the wound. So what's pulling up now between now and then is all these wounded situations that causes you to react in life or take steps that are more so in connection to a reaction rather than a response. You see? The easiest way to go about this as a collective, while the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo, the North Node in Pisces is directing you to surrender whatever false dogmatic beliefs you have that may even place one into a savior complex, which also has one reacting to life rather than responding to it. Okay, let's see what's next. Let's see what's next. We're gonna get to it here. What's next here for the collective? The Two of Wands. The waiting game. But remember, this is your test. So you're already aware that if you are calling in, manifesting, summoning a desire, a reality that is not the one that you are presently in, remember what's happening next is the waiting game. Play it as a game. I get it. Certain things in your current conditions can make the situation appear stressful. But the more awareness you direct towards that present condition as stress, that's the game you're going to continue to play. Play your hand wisely. Yes, you may have given a shitty ass deck, a shitty ass hand, and you playing spades, you may only have one spades. But if you partner up with the proper source, cosmic alignment, infinite creator, abundant in love, nurturing, you connect with that, you could easily win the game with one spade in that hand. And this one spade is a wild card. It might be the big joker. The waiting game is next. Let's go a little bit deeper into this. It was just 77, 22, and 11. Look at this waiting game of what's next as an opportunity for everything that can place you into a conflicting state of mind to come up, a conflicted state of mind, so you can see it for what it is, and because you see it for what it is, you can do something about it. Sometimes people tend to move too fast through this phase because they're not receiving what it is that they want. But what you want is not your desire. Those are two different things. Your want and needs are more connected to lack. Your desire is already what you're doing in a higher perception or dimension. It's a different state of mind. That's all it is. It's not stepping out of a compartment and going to another space. It's all within you. But when you are operating from a space of wanting and needing something, that's from a lower vibration. When you step into this heart space, because once again, what's your challenge is having spatial awareness, I almost said, is having patience with the spiritual strength that is actually increasing in this waiting game to clear out anything that can conflict your mental, conflict your mind. And for those of you that are tuned in and tapped into the Bible, see what it is that when you open your Bible, see which testament as you open the Bible you go to. Because the Old Testament is going to be the old test of your mind, and the New Testament is the new test of your mind. So you can see where you're at. Okay? So tell me more about what's happening next. Ooh, the waiting game with partnerships and alliances. What's hidden behind this is that this is going to be some sort of it's a restriction that allows you to connect to your strength. So this is yielding to a higher power. They're literally allowing the unseen realms. I'm picking up strongly from this, but this is Sun and Aries. This is you, okay. What's happening next is the waiting game. And what's lifting you up and through this phase is the cosmic warrior. because that's Saturn in Aries. When Saturn re-enters Aries on the 14th of February, it's the cosmic warrior that's being reborn. Not the ego-driven world version of oneself. Way beyond that. 23. That's the new moon in Virgo as well. What's happening next? I've been saying this too. This Virgo season. This Virgo season that we about to approach. Okay? And if you are a member of this channel, you got the code. I'm going to tell y'all the code, but the members know what the code means. That 813. Just put it this way. 813. It speaks about the new moons in Psalm 81. It's literally 81:15 on this timer right now. $81:15. Those who hate the Lord would cringe before him, and their punishment will last forever. Now, when we look at this metaphysically, those who hate the head of the household, those who hate their own mind will cringe before themselves, causing their punishment and grief to last forever. You see where we're going with this? 8:15 up there too. So that's Psalm 81. Y'all dive deeper into that on your own time. It's going to be beneficial for this here Virgo season. Getting you from a state of hope to knowing to faith. Removing this false dogma, because this word here is a major word amongst the collective that is seen as something that allows one to thrive. No, it keeps you in survival mode. Hope keeps you in survival mode. Faith, knowing, trusting. Now that's you claiming your sovereignty. You being tuned in and tapped in with the infinite creator of all as an extension of it, because you know what's up. Once again, even if the present conditions doesn't show it as such. Let someone tell you, I know I love you, versus I hope I love you. You know the difference. And the energy and frequency behind it doesn't change when you use it in other instances. It's the same. It puts you in survival mode. It puts you in a limbo. It puts you out of balance. Because the main thing is remembering duality so you can get into this divine space of non-duality. But that's a different topic for another moment. What's the advice? There's one more card that's coming out for what's next. Then we'll go to the advice because it landed right on top of that. Stand your ground. These are all fire energies. 2 and 3, Aries, 7, Leo. When it comes to what are they having to stand their ground on for what's next? What are they having to stand their ground on? Your heart chakra and passion being ignited. Ooh. Once again, this has to do with the reigniting or reawakening of one's truth. And truth can only be expressed through compassion and alignment. Truth isn't weaponized. It's not something to be weaponized. Back to the question, are you mature enough to lead your own life with clarity, discipline, and fire? Are you balanced enough to lead your own life with clarity, discipline, and fire? Stand your ground when it comes to what ignites you as a person, as a sovereign being, as one who is ready to claim what it is that they are manifesting. There's also something here I was jotting down. and processing in regards to that as well. Let me see if I placed it here in my notes. Because if you know the way a tree is, a tree doesn't beg for ground, it just takes root and grows. A tree that begs is hoping, but the tree that knows just take root and grows. So in the same way, you must inhabit the form of what is already yours. If you're unable to do that, is because deep down within yourself, deep through yourself, is something that is not for you. And you can be forcing it, which is now creating it to be a want or need. Wow. And if you find yourself manifesting, is also connected to this, in the process of manifesting or summoning a reality into your life, and you notice it's been years, months, because it shouldn't really even take that long. You should, I mean, this is part of the programming of the collective, where one cannot even properly summon what it is that they desire, because this is off. Or one is not connected to, rather. It's not off. Because the heart doesn't turn off unless time's up. But as far as one still having life, not being connected to this operator, generator, operator, destroyer, the base of the spine, where the serpent coils up before it goes through its kundalini rising. If one is not connected to this heart chakra, and your nervous system is it regulated, and whatever subconscious beliefs you're connected to are more so in connection to unworthiness, that's why your manifestations aren't coming in. And notice that what you do manifest is more issues and problems into your life. 8800 on the time. Reset. You're literally going through a recalibration of what it means to have that creative divine spark with Saturn and Neptune and Aries, which is why I love astrology as I do, in connection to the Bible and so many other things that you see the connection between it all. And not seeing the connection between them all is not recognizing that you have your thumb, your index, your middle, your ring, and your pinky, and they all work together as a whole. But to separate them, there's not enough energy flowing through for it to do something as simple as create and grab things. What's the advice? What's the advice? The cards that came out, this was the first card that came out. The advice is to emotionally withdraw. And this specific stage is happening starting the 1st of September. Some of you could already be feeling that, you know. Old karmic residues tied to victimhood, martyrdom, emotional repression, and ancestral grief resurface just to be cleared. So if there are things that are resurfacing that has you feeling as though you're not winning in life, oh no, you're winning. And the sign that you're winning is those situations rise up so you can clear it before, you know what I'm saying, what it is that allows you to thrive and out of survival mode can show up for you, where you give room for it to show up. Patience and planets, Saturn and Taurus shows up again. Have patience with this process. Have patience with this process. But that's also, as it shows here, that is your challenge. Your challenge is having patience. Patience is not waiting. Just keep that in mind. Patience is what you do while you wait. Okay? And what you do while you wait, you be patient. And as you're being patient, you take inspired action. What other things are showing up that you can do while what it is that you placed an order for in terms of a different reality is being cooked up before it's delivered to you beautifully? Okay, show me more. What's the advice here for the collective? Gratitude for the thumbs up, my loves. I appreciate love you all. Look at this. The solar plexus, 8311. Yeah, 11. Balance out your gut. Some of you could be feeling this urge to fast, or you may notice that you don't have an appetite at this moment. That's all part of the plan. Slowing you down. It's also placing you into a position to slow down, to even rest. Some of you want to move and move and move right now. I wouldn't suggest that, because you're going through a massive rewiring phase where there's a lot of downloads that are coming through. That is a major recalibration of your root and your mind's eye, so you can clearly see what it is that you really want to connect to, and not just a phantom version of that, where what you dreamt of and desire are more so connected to wounds. Now you're being connected to the dream before the dream. You're being connected to the dream before the dream. This would lead to a fast from illusion. Some of you, your technology is moving the way it's moving with disruption for you to put it down and pick up the ancient technology of a pen and paper and get the writing, get the drawing. You know? One more here. Is a reweaving of your etheric spine through breathwork, sacred baths, forgiveness during the phase of Pisces. And this comes out anyway. $37, that's a 10, 1, and a 9, completion. There's a major cycle coming to an end in this 9 year. So there's a major shedding of old skin, the year of the snake. Subconsciously. It's as if by the time, let me see. By the time Saturn stations direct, which is the 15th of November, it'll still be in Pisces, but you'll be able to, you don't have to wait till November. You can do this from now. But you'll be able to, you'll be able to be more mature to clear out a lot of these karmic cycles that are stemmed from belief systems, because that's Pisces we're talking about once it goes direct. So this would be you tapping into your spiritual discipline, but without the rigidity of it, where it's something that you do effortlessly. You don't feel pressured to do it, because that's gonna align with your sacred values, and your sacred values cause you to make the decisions that you make. because there'll be a much deeper clearing of emotional and energetic noise, while also understanding and understanding, with Saturn being direct, that means the teacher reappears. You'll be able to handle, moments where you want to go this way, but there's a restriction, but you understand that you're in a phase based off of that restriction of strengthening before you are given full access to. Clarify? This will all be helping you to rebuild your foundation with self-trust, because the recalibration that the collective is having is, situations that you did go through when your inner child is non-existent right now. And that is a requirement when it comes to manifestation, because the child has an effortless way of imagining, The legacy is on hold until one gets out of this energy of feeling left out in the cold. What I'm being shown right now is where some of you may be having a reoccurrence of a vision or a dream you've had between 2009, this is a long period, but 2009 and 2021, or specifically 2009, 2021, yeah, 2009 and 2021. More of you in this 2021 phase. But that the ones that are in that 2009 reoccurrence of a vision or a dream, you've been on this journey for this is more so it's a realignment of a prophecy. You're very prophetic in nature. You may even see a katydid, which is a grasshopper. Then we have the Page of Cups. Whatever the situation is that is a challenge to emotionally withdraw from, because you felt as though this was the creme de la creme of love, it was just a page of the love you are about to experience. It wasn't even, it was possibly the first word, not even a page, the first word within the page. But one has given it the power of the entire book of the abundance of love of this situation, which could be the reason as to why a legacy has been placed on hold. And we have here the Ten of Wands, Saturn in Sagittarius. The philosopher of sacred law, the gift of the truth bearer and path revealer, yeah. The teacher of universal law and spiritual expansion, one who grounds cosmic wisdom into doctrine, devotion, and a structured path of higher knowledge, not doctrine that turns into dogma. Building temples from the stars and beyond. Being disciplined through truth. Being disciplined through truth. Aligning with it from a space of compassion and not weaponizing the truth. I'm also picking up November 7th. What is November 7th? Is that Six of Cups? That is Six of Cups. So this level of energetic or emotional noise that's going to be cleared out or released is from a past life. Finally clearing it out now. I'm hearing because one is no longer suppressed in terms of the expression of their ways, cosmically, galactically, spiritually. Gifts that they no longer have to hide where ancestors of the past had to. Look at that, Four of Cups. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Something about holding on to an idea of what love is even here for some of you, and not seeing that that is just Three of Cups showing up here. Someone reflecting on a past situation where they felt they were in their authority, but that was just part of, you know, you reconnecting with the inner communication of self and being able to value the way you feel so that way you can receive this holy grail, this cup of unconditional love straight from source. Some of you are going to be placed into a significant waiting game. And you may notice that your career path, from a physical standpoint, changes. What you do for a living is going to be more connected to what brings you joy. Where you notice that you can do this 25/8 beyond standard time because it's what brings you joy. Doing what you love to do, not having to do something because you have to do it in order to survive, where now you're being able to enjoy the gifts you were designed to utilize in this lifetime. After it's gone through its phases of being suppressed because of the different systems that were put in play to distract you, to not get you to realize who you are first and foremost, to even tune into something that someone may call, oh, it's just a hobby, and that's not going to lead you to, you know, having an existence where you're thriving, living a life where you're thriving. That you have to be this lawyer or this doctor. No, not throwing shade to no lawyers or no doctors. I'm just saying, where that has been a notion for some time that you got to do this or have this way of living in order to have this. No, 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 no. What is deep within you that you love to do, because that is what's going to bring you wealth. Who was it that was it? Was it something I was hearing from Napoleon Hill? I think it was Napoleon Hill. But anyway. One more for the advice. There, see? There goes that Five of Cups we've been talking about there. Looking at the past. There goes the Three of Cups. With the false sense of authority. Not realizing that that's spilled milk. Ain't nothing coming from that. Allow it to be what it is. Take all of that off, that heaviness off, and walk across this pathway into these new cups. These two new cups standing upright. Refreshed and clean. No sand in them. Yeah. It's basically saying surrender. This false sense of fulfillment. because this is what's standing at the forefront of your mind, which is the Nine of Cups, and you have 9 cups here as the advice. And if this is what's at the forefront of your mind, the advice is already within your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is already going through that process of surrendering it, which that leads to that uncomfortable sensation of having, it's as if you have to abruptly let go of something because there's no going back to it, because it no longer exists. Look at that 9 of Wands. It's the challenge card. It's the same message here. Wounded warrior energy. It's having the vision of a potential, but the only potential you can take the lid off is the one of your own, not another's. That's what leads to heartache and pain. Stand your ground. So there's certainly going to be some sort of partnership or an alliance that has an abrupt change to it, but it's also designed to reawaken what ignites your passion. So much so that you stand your ground from it. This is going to happen between this phase of this twin new moon energy showing up again. Show me what's in the environment here for the collective. I love to see it, baby. Love begins. Yeah. That's also part of your advice with sources saying, yo, you got new love coming in, new endeavors coming in. You want to sit there in the past version of yourself, which is not even a full page of the entire book, not even the sentence of the book, of that page within the book. This is some strong unconditional love is strong on its own, but this is what revitalizes you. It literally brings vitality to you. What's showing up in your environment. Some of you, you may even close the door on that because you may be still stuck in your ways of wanting to reconnect with something because you felt as though that's it right there. Nah. Tell me. What's in your environment now? You got the Temptation card that shows up in reverse. Oh, shit. It's a major opportunity to overcome what tempts you off your path because you are evenly tempered. The Temperance card shows up again. It's in your challenge. But this is what I mean about having an earth angel around you, whether if it's something that you see or it's from the unseen, something from the unseen that you see or something from the unseen that you don't see. It's around you, clearing out whatever energies that will prevent you from seeing this new love that's coming into your life. What this could be partnerships, alliances, this could be a significant partner in your life, this could be an idea. All in all, it's connected to the activation of your heart chakra, which is you realigning with your heart chakra and reigniting what brings you, reigniting your passions. Some of you have a passion to do something, but you're not doing it because of so much trauma and wound that is piled up on top of it, so much so you can't even see what brings you joy, but it's part of your destiny. You have the universe on your side recalibrating all of this for you. So much so you don't even have to worry that this new love that's coming in is not something of the past where you feeling as though you're trapped in something. Suffering in silence. Ooh, wow. Ooh. Foundations and achievements. Okay. Literally showing that what would block someone from receiving this new love would be, ooh, left side of my head is tingling, would be the way you are perceiving your reality, your foundation, your current foundation. You know, the part of this self-forgiveness could be you may have expected to be in a certain position in your life right now. Let that go. The reason why you're not there, you finding that shit out now because that wasn't for you. That was more so a want or need that you thought was connected to, that you thought was a desire, which is you tuning in to, you know, what it is that you've been designed with, uniquely and authentically designed with, that you don't even have to perform to do it, but it allows you to thrive in life. But still being connected to a past version of yourself and feeling as though, oh, in order for one to be deemed as successful, this is what has to be done. But is that truly what it is that your heart is saying for you to do? That's coming more so from survival mode, a blocked root chakra. And you can feel when you're doing something that is out of alignment because there's this sense of heaviness that rides you. It ain't coming from things outside of you, it's coming from within. It's a level of frustration that shows up because you're not trusting or aligning with your sacred response that's telling you that's a no. Clarify. Some of you go through the challenges you went through with family, with parents, with whomever, because that is exactly the training grounds that were perfectly designed for you to wake up. High Priestess, Ashe. Bueno. That's literally what's going on here, my loves. That is literally it. This is getting a little wild right now. Initiation of authority being revised, Saturn in Aries, retrograde. The trial of the warrior priestess, warrior priest. Again, the question, are you mature enough to lead your own life with clarity, discipline, and fire? Or are you going to sulk in this sadness because of who wasn't there for you, who didn't do enough of this, and who didn't have your moment, feel what you feel, but don't make it you. Just don't make it you. Because again, when you're looking at this from a higher dimension, from your soul, from your oversoul, you'll be able to see why, the choice was made to be in this level of environment before going through the birth canal and having this reality, experiencing this reality. Because you knew beforehand that the reflection of all of this turmoil is in connection to your power, is in connection to your strength, is in connection to your courage. Look at this, as we're saying all of that. The Wheel of Fortune here at the bottom of the spread. You got the divine is in fine-tuned alignment with you here, collective. That even if your heart is being weighed against the feather and you have a heavy heart per se, you're being granted grace, collective. The ones on the other side of that, not so much. Some of you may be in here, you on the other side of that. The way that would appear in someone's life is, it's not something so drastic where it's not something where you would step into a level of fear. It's just more so you're holding on to something of the past. You know it no longer serves you. You're gonna see the shittiest end of that stick and beyond that because you're still in that position that you don't desire to be in. But those that are ready to shift from that, and your heart is weighed against the feather and it's heavy because you are subconsciously deep within your spirit and your soul, you're ready to move on. But there's just certain things, deep within you, if there's a significant shift or an experience, let's say an encounter with this Anubis type of frequency, you'll let go whatever it is that you have to let go of that no longer serves you. I'm smelling a baby now. A do-over with the Queen of Pentacles. New love begins due to the mysteries of life, attaining the keys and the knowledge of the mysteries of life. Judgment, because this is part of you. This is embedded within your blood. Yeah. So the way this message is coming through right now is you're being given a part of a fragmented version of yourself that unlocks any and every door of fruitful abundance, of love and joy. But this is also about you liberating past generations too. 7 before and 7 after. You could have Capricorn highly aspected in your chart. With the Queen of Swords. What's behind it? Eight of Cups again. Emotional withdrawal. This is basically what was just stated in regards to that Anubis interaction per se, where the heart is being weighed against the feather, that you walk away from a situation physically as well as spiritually and emotionally. But there's a final part to this that still has to happen physically, or mentally rather, mentally. And because you go through this process of judgment, because the judgment card was at the bottom of the deck, where, so this is what I mean, where some of you may even have a very strong vision where you're seeing the state of your spirit and your soul, and you know what to do with it. It's being shown to you, this mystery. That mystery is being shown to you about yourself because you have it within you to be able to see it. Okay, so let's take it there. So this would be for someone who is in this world but is not of this world. Obviously, it's that type of message that's coming through here. You have many lives, many. But this is the final phase of going through those previous lessons of those many lives, of even the reason of being given many lives. Or going through so many tempting situations, living a lot of devil type of situations where you had no control and you felt as though there was control over you and you couldn't grasp your own control over yourself in situations. But part of that is because of you're afraid of your own abilities, your own power, your own spiritual gifts. That's why spiritual strength is a challenge. Something as simple but as powerful as love. Choosing not to love oneself and place oneself into situations that embody you not loving yourself. And then wondering why things are fucking falling to shit. You just gotta stop being afraid of your own power. And for some of you, that has to do with the way you express yourself. This is basically your soul walking towards your oversoul and coming to this state of an agreement, balance, Libra, of seeing oneself in the sense of, okay, we're not doing this no more. We're not doing, what is this? We're not placing ourselves in situations where we're going to have to walk away from it because it no longer serves. Aquarius energy also has to do with building partnerships that are for the long term, that goes beyond. It's the star archetype. It's the star major arcana. So this is connections that go beyond the physical, which gives it that eternal life. So this is having a reunion with one's oversoul and having that conversation and such that we're no longer placing ourselves in situations that we have to walk away from because what it no longer serves. Placing oneself into situations that will constantly be of service to oneself and oneself to others. It's an equal exchange. Six of Pentacles, there's a balance there due to reciprocity. Okay. Let's clear up what's in this hopes and fears position. Notice the hope is in a section where it's also connected to fear, and fear, a conjunction, which means there's something within that word. You know what I'm saying? It's also in connection to a false sense of belief in oneself. Therefore, not being able to know, trust, and have faith, but will feel more comfortable in hoping. What's in this section? Ooh. Hoping that makes all the sense in the world. Hoping for victory and success. You better know that you are victorious and successful regardless of, once again, what's showing up in your current reality, because prosperity begins. But once again, as mentioned before, that legacy is being placed on hold and covered until you walk away from these crumbs that you've been accepting into your life, because it will no longer serve or fulfill you. Challenge of it, foundations and achievements. This is Ten of Wands showing up again. The obstacles and challenge of clear inner knowing, seeing the vision, seeing the bigger picture. Saturn and Sagittarius in the hopes and fears position. By just saying that you hope something will work out, that's the reason why what it is that you are summoning or manifesting hasn't come in for you to claim it or receive it, because it's connected to a vibration that is keeping it away. So to clear that up, let's go to surrender. Let me directly go here. So to clear that up, surrender fear. Let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. Stay in the moment. Focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. That's inspired action. Celebrating every baby step forward. Staying in the moment. Because when you're not, you're too far in the past, which is going to put you into a depressive state, or too far ahead into the future, which is now causing anxiety. Stay in the moment right now. There's so much to do in the moment, but you won't know that if you're not there. Okay. What's the message of surrender? 7:24, a whole hour later. Surrender to receiving support and love from the one, from the source, because it was just 6:24. What's 7:24? What is surrounding you? 6:24 had to do with the encompassing, and what is surrounding you? One, source. Let's see what 7:24 is right quick. Healing, restoration. What is surrounding you is healing and restoration. Surrender to receiving support and love. I'm looking at the Hebrew lexicon dictionary of those numbers. Allow the love and support of others in rather than trying, which is an insult to doing. Trying is an insult to doing. So that's another thing that you can check in with yourself on. If you're telling yourself that you are trying to do this, you're not doing it. You literally just place what it is that you're doing into a negative state or a negative state where it's not even happening. Even if you are doing it, that's a delusion. You create a delusion of what it is that you're doing when you attach try to it. Okay, so allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself, because even if you are handling things yourself, is it being handled? No, you're placing yourself into dealing with what it is that you are being called to handle. When you allow the love and supporting of others, this can take pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. Because some of you are really stepping into some grand positions here where you may even have to, have a supportive group around you. So if this is a business so it can grow, definitely is something here regarding a business, or a spiritual business with the High Priestess and the Queen of Pentacles that you started on your own, but now it's growing to a position where you may have to, not that you have to, but it's getting to a point where even if it's just one, it could just be just one person. This could even just be someone that you go to express whatever it is that you have going on, so you can keep doing all the things that you are, able to handle. Because some of you can do things and have a grand business and do it on your own. Not saying that it can't be done, because it can. Okay? But if there's some level of trust issue and you are someone who works better with others, but there's situations you've experienced in the past that trigger a trust issue, just clear that up. Because once again, if you're someone who works best with others in terms of your growth, you're going to want to clear that up. Matters of trust. There goes defensiveness. Surrender defensiveness. Defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out. Then offer a clear, non-defensive response. Now, for some of you, this message also has to do with when someone hears you out, be, aware enough to hear what it is that's being stated to you in regards to them hearing you out. Okay. Surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. Some of you can even incorporate a stretch routine. That's going to, especially when it comes to the hip area. Some of you may have heard me mention this before, on the psoas area, which is the seat of the soul. So stretching out that area is going to help you to release any type of wounding or trauma that is sitting within the hip area. An example of that would be, I heard this in another clip, and it makes so much sense, where even when one is being changed as a newborn, as a toddler, as a child, notice how often, a baby would cry. That would signal it's time for it to be changed. And traumatic or wounding experiences can start from that early, where they can sense part of that crying comes from being around a caregiver or a caretaker that at some point gets frustrated with the constant changing. Even if they may not say it, and they may, express to the child in a baby voice, oh, it's okay, but they can still sense when that person is in a state of being tired as they're changing them. And that's a very sensitive area around the hip area. It can easily just pick up, information that can lead to trauma or wounds. Surrender frustration. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. Now let's look at the outcome. What's the outcome for the collective? What about the conflict and defeat? Man, there will be triumphant success where you'll be able to move on from this. This is the moving on message as well that showed up earlier, but together, which is here. It's in your challenging position. It's going to be a challenge to move on, but subconsciously you're already being prepped and prepped to move on from this. Whatever has been conflicting and defeating you, by it coming to the surface once again, for it to be cleared. Triumph. Let's let them know. Yes. All this conflicted situations are coming up for you to surrender. 7 and 5. For you to surrender. You already got the message. For you to surrender stress. For you to surrender frustration. That can help you to surrender to receiving support and love, where you're not misusing even the support and love that comes your way because of still being connected to some sort of stress or frustration of a past situation. And with this showing up here, I love that it's the Chariot card, the Chariot of Ascension, your Merkaba, showing up as your outcome, because what this is saying is you will be moving with precision. You will be moving with precision in connection to your higher self, your oversoul. So the moves that are uncomfortable, it is in connection to moving with precision. Part of that has to do with solitude. So again, if you are in an environment where you're unable to be in solitude, that is a tool for you. If you are in an environment where you are unable to be in a space of solitude and meditate, don't make it an excuse. Use it as a tool, because there's something that's coming up that is in connection to your abundance of joy, of wealth, that you're being trained in this moment of, okay, if you're unable to be in an environment where you can easily tune in with self on a much deeper level through a meditative state, this particular moment is training you for that, where you may want your solitude, but the environment is not specifically designed for that. Use it. Don't let it use you. Okay? One more source. What do we have? Accelerated motion. That's this card right here. That's what this is. The disruption is perfectly designed for your triumphant success. It really is, though. Because what it's going to do is going to heighten your extrasensory perception as well. Where even, let's say you're in this state of frustration, it doesn't open any doors. But your next move is your best move, precision. Where you feel guided to do something, whether if it's go for a walk, just do something. And in that doing, you receive another key or another sign that allows you to put things into perspective, where the reason as to why you even had to abruptly disconnect from an environment, you see it in a much different light, from a higher vibration. Let me see. What else? One more. I know I said one more. Yeah, obstacles and challenges. Saturn and Leo, which is what's happening next for you too, with the waiting game and partnerships and alliances. So if you find that something is being restricted or placed on hold, as you would hear, rejection is protection type of vibes, because it's going to put you in a position to now really focus on the true task at hand. You know? It's as if you would be placed into scenarios that make you go towards your last resort. But that last resort should have been the first option. It should have been the first option. But the reason why one may not see it as the first option is it's either something that you were told it's a hobby, it's not going to bring success, not going to allow you to thrive, or in the perception of that last resort, it's too simple. So one is, you know, the collective has been programmed to complicate situations, to react in a complicated way and not respond through effortlessness. When you move through life with ease, and part of that ease is more so something as simple as checking in with your breath as you're breathing. Are you having a full inhale and exhale cycle in one breath? If not, start there. So that way the energy can flow from the base to the crown fully. So now way you can really access what these downloads that are coming through. Even if the environment doesn't properly set itself up for you to be, you know, in a Zen state within, so without, as far as the environment, use it as a tool. It's basically, let's look at an example, football players. When they're in training, they don't hear the same noise that they hear game time that's going on during game time. It's much louder. But they still got to have that same, you know what I'm saying, that same awareness, that same focus as if they were at practice and it wasn't that much noise going on to be able to hear what plays to make. You see what I'm saying? So it's that type of vibe. That goes that reciprocity energy. You may feel as though that your environment is presenting you with restrictions or obstacles. Nah, it's literally giving you keys and tools. But it's the way you perceive what's going on as to the way you'll move about it. Okay? With that, my loves, that's your message. I'm going to pull one more message of guidance and we'll wrap it up there. Much love to all of you. Just know you got this. You got this, okay? The tortoise, patience, persistence, and resourceful. You are being guided to be mindful. Enjoy each moment. Have patience with yourself and others. Taking small steps forward will deliver you to huge accomplishments. That's it. One step at a time. I love you unconditionally. Be well, and I'll see you on the next live.